Welcome to tutorial number 4, which is titled Data Exploration. Now in this tutorial, we'll mostly be looking at techniques that we can use to explore our data and extract information from our data sets. But another concept that I want us to look at is the concept of georeferencing, and that's where we will start. Now georeferencing is the process of giving spatial reference to an old map, an image, something that does not have spatial reference defined to it. Okay, and I'm going to show you how that works just now. Just on a side note, you'll see in your study guide, one of the outcomes for practical 4 or tutorial 4 is adding GPS data, but we have already covered that in tutorial number 1, so I'm not going to cover it here again, but there's some extra data that you can use to practice it again. It's available in this folder. Okay, but what I want to do is I'm going to add this Spot 5 satellite image. So what we have here is an image of Potchefstroom. You can see it's spatially referenced. We can open its properties, and if we go to the source and scroll down, you'll find that it is in it's in a geographic coordinate system, WGS 1984. So it does have spatial reference defined. So I'm going to zoom in a bit here. You can see a bit of detail. This is a satellite image, so it's not a very high resolution one. In other words, it's not a very fine scale one, so there's not a lot of detail, but there's enough to be able to identify, for instance, the campus here. What I want to do next is going to say add data, and I have a JPEG here that's named campus. Okay, so I'm going to add that, and immediately what we see is unknown spatial reference. Okay, so it tells us there's no spatial reference defined to this layer. Alright, I'm just going to turn it off first. Okay, so what does this mean? This means ArcMap is not able to display this campus JPEG on the correct place on the globe. Okay, because spatial reference is not defined for it. Why is that? That's because I just went to the website of the university. I'm just going to say zoom to layer, say turn it on, and I downloaded this campus map that we all know, and I saved it on my computer. Okay, so it's just a regular JPEG. It's not a spatial data set at all. Okay, so this is different from the other layers that we added in the first tutorial, where we got the same error, no spatial reference information defined, but it was actually spatial data, and the reference system was just not defined to it. In this case, this is not a spatial data set at all. It's just a JPEG image. But often you'll find that there are old maps, for instance, that you have a hard copy of that's got interesting information on it, and you want to use that map and to capture that interesting information in a GIS. But the only way to do it is to scan that map. So you scan it in, you get it as an image, a PDF, some sort of non-GIS file, and now you want to take that image and capture information from it. So what we need to do then is add it to ArcMap, and then we need to georeference it. We need to give it spatial reference. We need to fit it to the correct area in space where it should be in order for us to capture data from it. So how does this work? Okay, so I'm going to take you through the process now. To do this, we need the georeferencing toolbar. If it's, in my case, it's now displayed here. How do you get it? You right click somewhere on an empty space on your toolbar, and you just go to georeferencing and you select it. Okay, and then it will appear for you to use. You can move it around. Let's, for the sake of this exercise, just put it here. Okay, so this is the georeferencing toolbar. Now the first thing that it asks of us is the data set that we would like to georeference, and this is very important. We don't want to georeference the spot or satellite image, okay, because that is correctly georeferenced. We know that. The one that we want to georeference is the campus one, the one that does not have spatial reference defined. Okay, so that's the one that we would like to work with in this exercise. Just to give you some context, I'm going to turn this thing off now. We can't even see the port satellite image. Okay, if you look at the coordinates down here, just keep your eye on that. when I move the cursor around, you can see we're not even, well, on the globe for that matter, you see. Okay, so there's this thing is just somewhere in space. Okay, we now need to get it to fit on the sphere, the spheroid that we have in terms of the WGS coordinate system to which the Spot satellite image is defined. Okay, and to do that we need what we call reference points. So I'm going to show you some steps now, and these are just steps that you need to follow. So you need to learn them and you need to apply them as I do now. The first thing you want to do is turn off auto adjust. Okay, so you click on georeferencing, you turn off auto adjust. Okay, so auto adjust should not be selected there. The reason for this is it just makes it easier to do georeferencing. If auto adjust is on, it's constantly going to make changes to this campus data set, and it's probably just going to confuse you. Okay, so this is just a tip from me. So just turn it off first. Make sure campus, the one that you want to georeference, is selected, and then you start by clicking here to add control points. I'm going to click there, and what I now want to do is I want to select a feature on my map that I can identify on my satellite image. So I'm going to go here for the law building. Okay, so I'm going to go for that corner there, and now I want to zoom to my satellite image. Okay, now what's happening here, the campus one, the JPEG, the white that we see is actually the JPEG, so I need to turn it off first, otherwise I can't see my building. Okay, now I want to zoom in. Okay, you can see the quality is not great here, so it's not ideal, but we just want to get a sort of a fix on it here. Okay, so I want to add that control point, so you can see there's already this line being displayed here. So I've got the one control point now fixed on my image. Now I want to plot it on my satellite image. Okay, so now I have one control point. Now I want to go back to my campus layer. Okay, I'm going to turn it on again. Alright, so I want to do another one. So let's take the other corner of this building. Same building. Let's go back to our satellite image. We now selected that corner there. Okay, and this I want to continue. I'm just going to pause it now and add a few more reference points. Alright, so I added 3 more. You can see distributed across campus. So I've got 5 now. You most likely want to have more than this, but very important is that your points aren't all just in the center, for instance, of this image. You need to try to cover most of the image that you would like to re-reference to get your referencing as accurate as possible. So here you can see the 5 reference points in green, and there's where they should be there. So that's where the actual satellite image is. So if you start zooming in towards those, it's going to take a while to get there. Keep zooming. There we start seeing the image, right? So you can see the campus image is currently displayed much too big. Okay, so what I'm going to do now, I have these reference points. So now I'm going to click here on georeferencing, and I'm going to activate this auto adjust function. If I turn on campus, see what happened. Okay, so it now related those reference points to the satellite image, and you can see it's probably not perfect yet, but it is already referencing the correct area at least. So if we turn it off and on, you can see the map is now on top of campus where it is supposed to be. So that's the process of georeferencing, and now I can use this image to capture data. I can create a new polygon and capture the outline of these buildings, or I can create a point polygon, and capture just the location of the buildings as points, or whatever it is I need to do, I can capture from this JPEG image. To save this change that I made to it, I go to georeferencing and say update georeferencing. Alright, and what happens now, if I remove this thing and I add data again, and I add campus again. This time it displays correctly. Why is that? Because georeferencing is defined. So I'm just going to go to the folder where it is stored so you can see. Okay, so the georeference data. So you can see now for campus, 2 files. There's the original JPEG, but there's this OGG file and this JGWX file. So that's the spatial reference information. So look what happens if I remove that. I go back to this folder, I select those two, and I delete them. And now I only have the campus JPEG again. If I add it again, there I get my issue, and we're back to square one. Okay, so I'm going to upload this folder to Efundi so it's available for you. So what I would recommend now is that you go to your software, go to a computer with the software on it, and use this campus JPEG and the satellite image and practice this georeferencing. You're probably going to struggle a bit, and it's going to take a few tries to get it right. But it's important that you get it right. You're going to need it for the practical, because there I'm going to ask you to reference an image and capture data from it.